The replay viewers, hey everybody. We are talking this week about leadership and leading from inspiration instead of leading from fear. Hello, My Healthy Life. Thank you for joining, Alani. It's awesome to see you. Thank you for the hearts already. Hey, everybody else that's joined. So we're talking about leading from inspiration instead of fear, and it's so key. If you'll do this, you'll change everything about your success in leadership and your success in the things that you want to do. And we talked about yesterday, there's two things that you could be facing. It could be a challenge, or you could be facing wanting to pursue a dream or a goal, right? And if you need to overcome the challenge, you're not going to do it if you're scared, because you'll be frozen. If you want to achieve the dream or the goal, you won't be able to do it because you're scared or you're frozen, right? So today we're looking, and we always look at stories from the Bible. So if you're curious, then follow along, or if you don't like the Bible, then maybe this isn't for you. But anyway, we are looking at chapter 13. Hey, everybody that's joined, thanks for joining. We're looking at chapter 13 in 1 Samuel, and we're going to look at Saul. So let's talk a little bit about Saul. Now, give me a thumbs up if you've heard of Saul. Okay, the king, Saul, Israelites, etc. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, that's not a thumbs up, but cool. I don't know what that says. But anyway, Saul, he was the first king of Israel. Now, how did he become king? He didn't really want to become king, okay? He became king because the people of Israel wanted to be like everybody else. Thank you, thumbs up, My Healthy Life. The people of Israel wanted to be like everybody else. They were comparing themselves to somebody else. They were not leading, they were following. They were living out of fear instead of living out of inspiration, right? You cannot inspire others unless you are inspired, is what we always talk about, right? So right away, the reason there even is a king is because people were scared. They were comparing themselves to others. Comparison is a cancer. It will kill you. Comparison is a fear, right? And it will bring you down. It will freeze you. And that's what they did. So they've got a king. Saul doesn't want to be king, but Saul is king, and now he's got a big bad army, okay, who's coming after him. All right, yeah, we'll pray for your mother-in-law. Okay, wow, awesome. Thank you for sharing, Annabelle's mom. That's worth pausing over. Yes, in the name of Jesus, God, we just pray that you would heal her, help her, or your will be done in her life, and she would know you and be encouraged. But thank you for sharing. But we're looking at chapter 13, right? And you've got challenges, right? Your mother-in-law's got a challenge. And Saul had a challenge. He had a big bad army coming after him. The people in the big bad army were as many as, it says, the sands in the seashore. So you could not count them. They're like hundreds of thousands of dudes facing his army. And he had a few thousand people, but they were all so scared of this big bad army that they ran away and left him. So he was left with just 600 people. Okay, so he had 600 people versus the big bad army. So the first thing, and you know, honestly, Annabelle's mom, this is like your mother-in-law with needing a liver transplant. We face challenges in our lives that look so much bigger than anything we could overcome. That is the first thing. We face challenges in our lives that look so much bigger than anything we could overcome. All right? And if you think back, or maybe you have one right now, you know that's happened in your life. And here's the deal. It's going to happen. But the thing that sometimes we can't change the challenge, but we can change the perspective. That's the big key. Sometimes we cannot change the challenge, but we can change the perspective. And that's what you have to do. Now, Saul was not able to change the perspective. Okay. He just saw a big bad army, okay, that he didn't think he could defeat with 600 people. And the first kind of lie that we believe is that it's okay to be scared. I heard somebody say once that fear, it's okay if you have to lead, that's cool, totally understand. You can watch the replay. Is that fear is a belief in something that is wrong or not good, okay? Now, I don't mean fear of jumping off a cliff, okay? You should be scared of that and not do it, right? But I'm talking about an unwarranted fear. That's actually a faith in something that is not good or right for you, okay? So what Saul was doing was believing in the big challenge more than he believed in his big God. Do you understand what I'm saying? Thumbs up for that. Saul was believing in the big challenge more than he was believing in his big God. So fear is a faith. Fear is a faith. So if you have fear, at least an unwarranted fear, fear that's not healthy or good for you, like you can fear don't jump off a cliff, but don't fear the big challenge, right? Then that is a faith. And if you have a faith in something other than God, then you don't have faith in God. So the first thing is, if you're leading out of fear, oh no, I've got to achieve this goal. Oh no, what am I going to do with my kids? Oh no, what am I going to do with my own life? Anything like that, then that means it's a sign of lack of faith in God, right? And I'm not getting on you for it. I'm just saying we got to change that, or else you're never going to be able to face the challenge, because if you can't change the challenge, you got to change your perspective. Bam, right? If you can't change the challenge, you got to change your perspective. So Saul is like worrying. It's like he's pacing back and forth, right? He's like, do, 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 do. Is that good? Am I Saul pacing back and forth? Do y'all like that? Okay. So he is pacing back and forth for 7 days, because Samuel, the prophet who made him king, is saying to Saul, hey, Saul, I'm going to come along. I'm going to do a sacrifice to God. I'm going to pray. Hello. I'm going to pray. And we'll see if God's going to help you in your little 600 army against the hundreds of thousands of people who are coming up against you. So Saul says, okay, I am so worried. I'm doing awesome. Thank you for joining. I am so worried. Okay. In 7 days, Samuel's supposed to arrive. Samuel does not arrive. Hey, thank you for logging in from Russia. We love having people from Russia. Russian people are so nice. Okay. So in 7 days, Samuel does not arrive when he's supposed to. Fear makes you anxious. That's number 2. Fear makes you anxious. Thank you for Washington State. When you're anxious, do you make good decisions? Somebody tell me, do you make good decisions when you're anxious? No, you don't make good decisions. All right. When you don't make good decisions, can you lead well? No, you can't lead well. So you've always got to lead out of inspiration, not fear. So Saul is scared. He's anxious. He's not making good decisions. He is not supposed to do the sacrifice to God. He is supposed to wait for Samuel. Samuel told him to wait. He does not have the patience because he has the fear. You cannot have patience if you have fear. All right. Good things happen when you're patient. Have you ever heard this? Thanks for asking all your questions. Have you ever heard this? From the pauper to the palace is the process. And if you skip the process, you can't stay in the palace. I heard that from a preacher that I love following. If you skip the process, you can't stay in the palace. Well, Saul skips the process out of fear. Samuel arrives just when he is doing what he's not supposed to do, making that sacrifice to God. And he says, what in the heck are you doing? And then Saul says, well, I saw, remember, if you can't change the challenge, change the perspective. Unfortunately, Saul had a bad perspective. Saul said, I saw my men scattering from me, and you didn't arrive when you said you would. It's all your fault. You ever do that? It's all your fault. And the Philistines, the big bad guys, are at this place, and they're ready for battle. And then Samuel, the prophet, says, how foolish. He's like, you stupid. Yeah, the blame game. You have not kept the command the Lord God gave you. Had you kept it, the Lord would have established your kingdom. But now, boom, it's over. Wow, that's pretty harsh. Okay, but the last thing we're going to look at, right? Okay, so first of all, fear is a lie. Fear is a belief. If you are having fear, you are not believing in God, you're believing in something else. So fear is a belief, right? Second of all, fear will make it so you can't wait because you're so anxious and you'll make bad decisions, right? Third of all is, as we talked about yesterday, fear is a result of a perspective. We're all going to face challenges in life every day. We're all going to have, hopefully, hopes and dreams we go after, right? They will sometimes feel bigger than we are, okay? Sometimes you cannot change the challenge. You don't want to change the hope or the dream. What do? You got to change the perspective. Saul wasn't able to do it. He saw his men scattering, and you didn't arrive. Instead, he should have said, you know what? I've already seen what my God can do. I've already seen who made me king, and I wasn't even looking for it. Oh my goodness, I've already been exalted in such a high place. Count your blessings. I've already seen what God has done in such a huge way, right? Don't forget what you've seen because something comes at you and wants to change your perspective. Stay focused on the one who can help you lead out of inspiration, not fear. People will follow. People will be excited. And guess what? We're going to find out tomorrow in this same battle with Saul's son, Jonathan, that just 2 people against 100,000 people with faith instead of fear, with inspiration instead of fear, can win the day. So we'll talk tomorrow. Thanks everybody for your hearts. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining from Russia, Washington State, and everybody else. You guys are awesome. We'll talk tomorrow on this Bible life. That's what we're talking about. Bible and life together. Cool. Thank you guys.